Today I'm going to talk to you about 9 military life hacks that nobody talks about. These are the trade secrets to a successful career navigating the loopholes and the what-ifs in the military. And I know some of these may sound more legit than others, but believe me, you're going to want to understand these if you want to survive life in the military. All right, for the first one, I want you to picture this. Sometimes in the military, so we all use weapons, right? Pew, guns. Sometimes in the military, you have to clean those weapons. Now, sometimes this is because you went and shot for like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And sometimes this is because the weapons have just been sitting in the armory for a couple of months and somebody's like, oh my gosh, we're supposed to do weapons maintenance. Everybody go clean. And regardless, you're going to spend about the same amount of time cleaning them because no matter what, it's kind of like a game for armorers. It's like, how many times can I kick this weapon? Right? It's like a rule of thumb. Like, no, I have to decline their weapon 2 or 3 times before I can approve it. And so what they'll do is they'll like break the bolt down, shotgun style, as we say, meaning you take the M4 and you take the upper receiver and the lower and you break it down. And there's like a little piece right before the barrel that looks like a star, and they will stick their finger in there and like really rub around, and you can always find some kind of black, right? Some kind of carbon, and they'll be like, got a speck, clean it again. And that's just the way of life in the military. So you may have been shooting this gun all week and it is really dirty and you do need to clean it. Or it may have been sitting in an armory for months and it's just as clean as you left it. Give or take a little bit of time for the CLP, the lubricant cleaner, clean lubricant, protect, whatever, to work its magic. And you just kind of wipe it down, put a little bit more CLP on, and in theory, it would be good to go, right? That is how I would take care of my own personal weapons. That is how most people take care of guns. They just, every now and then they pull it out, they clean it, right? They wipe it down, spray some lubricant on it, ta-da. That's not going to be the case. It's going to take a while. So here's the trick, right? As you're cleaning your weapon, what you're going to do is you're going to give it the wipe down, clean it, make sure it's clean enough, right? Like, it's got to be clean to function, but it doesn't have to be, like, spotless, right? So you clean it down, and you're going to lock the bolt to the rear, right? Because when you turn the weapon into the armor, you have to have the bolt to the rear so they can make sure it's not loaded. And you're going to stick a $20 bill in that gap where the round would be in front of the bolt, and then you hand the weapon to the armorer, and they're going to see the 20, take the 20, make sure the gun is cleared, and then they're going to clean your weapon, and they're going to be like, thumbs up, it's approved. Or you could stick the money in the magazine weld, or just even a handshake, right? The trick is a $20 bill will get you through cleaning, approved and done, faster than any other way of cleaning your rifle, right? Now, you got to clean it. It's got to be decent. They can't just take a weapon that was thrown in the mud, but that's the trick. $20 for your armor. Now we're going to talk about the best MRE for bartering, right? Now, I know this sounds a little crazy, but look, back in the day, we had the veggie omelet. Nobody wanted that crap. And so if you got that omelet, you couldn't trade with anyone. So the goal here is to get like chili mac, chili with beans. They had a buffalo chicken for a little while. I don't know if it's still there anymore. It was kind of a new one. It was a good one. Tuna. Tuna's a good one because tuna actually is like Starkist tuna, so it's not just... It's good. It doesn't taste like an MRE or whatever. It tastes like tuna. So you want to get some of those good ones. The chicken ones are good a lot because they have like M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, Reese's. They have the good snacks and candies. So those are what you're looking for. Things that have good candies or like the good main meals. And then you can use bits and pieces of those. And then also you're going to want to take things like jalapeno or jalapeno cheese spread. If you're not a big cheese spread person, I don't like the cheese spread in MRE. So cheese spread itself is always great for bartering, but the jalapeno cheese spread is so much better. And people love like the wheat snack bread and the jalapeno cheese bread or cheese spread. So you can give those and you can trade for like an entire MRE for that sometimes. I'm much more of a cracker and peanut butter guy in the MREs, but to each their own. All right, the next tip, number 3, is to kiss up to your boss or commanding officer, right? Because even if you're a royal screw-up, if the boss likes you, you're golden. I mean, that's all she wrote. So you're going to want to really make sure that if the boss is around, you're the one going, ooh, I've got a question, or, oh, that's a great idea, sir, or I have an idea for how to make this unit better, or on a run, maybe you grab the guidon and you run around the formation right in front of the CO, and you're like, ooh, raw, sir, whoa, and then you come back around the formation, and then, if you make it a point to make the CO know who you are in a good way, then all the other kind of small stuff, right, like if your leaders don't like you, like, it doesn't matter as much because the boss likes you, right? So make sure you kiss some ass, because if you kiss ass to the right guy, it can go a long way. All right, briefly talking about the best countries to work with. Now, you may not have a choice in what countries you get to work with, but some countries are better than others. They're not all created equal. So I personally really enjoy working with Australia. The 2nd Royal Australian Regiment was awesome. Worked with them at RIMPAC. Worked with some Kiwis, New Zealand as well. Brits are always fun. Some of these countries are a lot more fun than others. I won't name names, but there's some countries that I would rather be enemies than be on our side, because it's like, oh my god, you guys are gonna do more damage to yourself than us. We had a country accidentally smuggle live ammunition onto K-Bay in Hawaii. Yeah, I mean, so there's some countries that are a little bit less military prowess, a little bit less sophisticated, but I really like Australia. I like Britain. I love the Japanese, right? I like Japanese culture, but hear me out. Well, actually, Italians, they're good too. If you ever get to work with the Japanese army on a training evolution, here's why they're the best. They bring sake to the field. So while the Marine Corps or the U.S. military, you're not supposed to drink in the field, the Japanese bring sake, and they will throw some shots back and have a good time at night when they're done training. So they'll be drinking in their tents or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, totally cool. You go train with the Japanese, you get to drink at night in the field. So, ta-da! On that same topic of countries to work with, items to barter. It's always good to bring like an extra boonie cover or an extra 8-point cover or an extra backpack or something digital with like your emblem on it. Maybe some extra patches or some extra coins to barter with other countries. You'd be amazed some of the stuff you can get just from trading with other countries. So bring coins, patches with either the U.S. flag or the emblem of your service. Maybe like a cover or a hat or a backpack with your digital print on it, your camis. That stuff is really fun to trade. They like it. You can get some good stuff for it. All right, this one's gonna save you a lot of time and energy, right? This is how to get out of duty. Now, duty, or Firewatch, right? Now, duty, for those of you who don't know, is a 24-hour post. Sometimes it's a sleeping post, sometimes it's not a sleeping post, and it's where you're gonna be hanging out for 24 hours watching the world burn, or watching the paint dry. Or, I mean, sometimes you do some really good things. Like sometimes while on duty, you get to make sure somebody who's somewhere should be there and they're there. You get to play babysitter and like play wake-up phone calls. That's fun. Sometimes, like, let's say an adult were to like leave the base, drink, drive, and then get a DUI, right? And they end up in the brig or the jail out in town, the drunk tank. And so they're an adult and they made bad decisions. And they got caught, and now they're in prison. So now you can go and pick them up while calling their leadership to rat on them, and then you come back to base. And it's great, right? Because you really help that person out, because now everybody knows, and they got woken up in the middle of the night, so they're even more angry about it. And you picked them up instead of like their spouse, so they're really happy about that. And then you get to bring them back and lecture them the whole time about why they shouldn't have done it, and they're still drunk, so they really take it all in. Other times you get to you could like wax the floor in the office building. That's a good rule for duty. Answer a phone if it rings. During COVID, anytime somebody, like when it first happened, anytime somebody like thought they were sick or went to the doctor for a test, we had to like document it, like write it all down, like wake up the XO in the middle of the night to be like, hey, this person has a fever and they're gonna go to the doctor. And he'd be like, oh, okay. And then you'd be like, thanks. And he'd be like, I thank you for your service. You're doing such a great duty. Enjoy, Roger. All right, so look, all satire aside, duty, not the most fun thing in the world. Now, there are some perks. You get to read some books, which is great for catch-up time and reflection. You can write some letters. You can do some of these tasks that you might otherwise have put off for a while. But it's just not the most fun use of your time, right? So a lot of people want to get out of it. Now, the easiest way to do this is to pay somebody. So you might, while you're like, it depends on what level duty you're on. Sometimes it's like $40 for the night. Sometimes as you get a little higher up, it's going to be like $80, $120. I think I've paid as much as $180, $200 to get out of duty before. That works. Another good way is to get like really sick, right? Like curl it. Like when I was on duty once and my appendix started to go out. And so instead of finishing my 24-hour post, what I actually did was I ended up in like the fetal position, and then I got like morphine, and I was in the hospital. I got more morphine, and then I had surgery to have my appendix removed, and then I was out obviously for that. And then the next morning, when I was brought back and I was all good and golden, I went home, and I actually got home after when I would have gotten off duty. But I got a few days off after that. So, like, totally worth it, right? Because I got out of duty to have surgery, and then I got, like, the weekend off to recover from surgery because the duty was a Friday. Or you get, like, the flu, right? That's a great, if you get, like, super, super, super sick, you get out of duty. Totally worth it. Especially, like, break a bone or something. Well, maybe not a bone. They probably wouldn't pull you off duty for that. It's got to be, like, something either contagious or, like, surgical. So if you do... obviously, like, it can't be something where you actually have more fun off duty than on, so it's got to be something terrible. That way, it's, makes sense to let you go. Honestly, the best way to do this is to figure out whoever makes the duty roster and become really good friends with them. That's it. The old, like, kiss up to the CO, suck ass, or kiss ass, or suck up to the boss, or whatever. Same thing, but for the person who makes the duty roster, right? Because if they're the person writing the roster and you're like, boys... you might have a little bit of influence on when you have duty, or maybe you won't even have duty, right? The last thing you want to do is piss off the person who makes that roster, because if they don't like you, you can be on duty all the time. Oh, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. Good luck sleeping again, motherfucker. On deployments, you want to make sure you're friends, or at least they think you're friends, with military police, because when people send, let's say this was alcohol, like vodka, just poured into a clear American sparkling water or watermelon container, just straight vodka. And then maybe they slid this into a Pringles container or something, right? And someone loves you, so they sent you this vodka. Because, you're deployed, and so it might be your last day alive, and you want to throw back a shot before you go to bed for your last op. That way, like, when you and your boys die the next day, at least you got to have a little fun before then, right? Because, it makes sense that, like, if you're going out on missions and you might die, like, you want to relax, decompress, and hang out with the boys a little bit before, because it might be your last night of life. Kind of like how prisoners get their last meal before being executed. You want to have, like, drink with the boys. So maybe someone loves you and they sent you this stuff. Well, the military police, what they do is they come in, they search all the packages, and they confiscate that alcohol so that you cannot enjoy that last night with the boys before your mission, which could be your last day alive, which is, so that's what the military police are there for. But if you are friends with them and they confiscate the alcohol, hey, if they're a little, dirty cop, there's a chance you can get some of that alcohol. So now, paint this picture. I love somebody and I send them vodka so that they can celebrate their last night with the boys before they go off on a mission in which they may ultimately die protecting and serving their country. You made friends with the military police, the Blue Falcon, who took said vodka from the package and might have even ratted on the service member so they get in trouble, even though they weren't the one who sent the package, right? They didn't know it was coming because someone else sent it to them. And then the military police guy gives you the bottle of vodka so that you can drink it while you're staying on the base and have almost no chance of dying tomorrow. That's playing a game at another level. Ooh, as you get older, you want to befriend the fitness test guy. Because, nobody likes running fitness tests. So obviously you want to know the guy who runs the fitness tests so that he can hook you up with the best time to run the fitness test and whatever, right? Here's a good one. So when you buy a Mustang, Camaro, or Charger, right? Because that's, you're not really a service member until you buy one of those cars and then pretend it's faster than everyone else's. Even better if you buy like a V6 Mustang and rebadge it as a 5.0 V8 just to, look cooler than you are. But when you buy one of those cars, most of you guys have this backwards. The lower the interest rate, the faster the car. And so a lot of service members seem to think that if they pay 15, 20, 25, the highest I've ever seen is 32% interest on an auto loan, then the car will be faster, and that's just not true. So you want to have a lower interest rate because that creates less drag on your monthly payment, which means that, less drag equals faster vroom vroom with the same horsepower. So also you could throw a K&N air filter sticker on the car, so that helps too. On a real note, guys, service members do go and buy some pretty expensive vehicles, and often they do it with some crazy bad financing. So just don't get sucked into that trap, right? Buy vehicles the right way. Don't get super crazy. Just, I don't know what to tell y'all. I've got an article on military car buying. Check it out. There's a lot better ways to do this. If you got something out of this, I know that this is very satirical. Some of this is actually somewhat decent advice hidden in a whole bunch of satire, but most of it is just straight satire and humor. I don't do a lot of videos like this, but if you like this one, throw me a like and a subscribe and let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll do more video military content like this. Most of my content, for those of you who don't know, we help service members and veterans and their families learn how to build wealth through real estate investing, entrepreneurship, personal finance. And so we talk a lot about VA loan, house hacking, real estate, index funds, TSP, you name it, in order to help you, whether you serve 4 years or 40 years in the military, we want to help you exit on your own 2 feet. So that's what we're here to do. Subscribe if you want to learn how to build wealth.